That girl here, and I am joined today by my lovely fiance JD.
Hello.
So this weekend we went to the grand opening of Halloween Horror Nights. We went Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're really tired. So if there's not a whole lot of enthusiasm, it's not that we didn't have a good time. We totally had all the fun. We're just beat.
It was a long 3 days. The heat index when we were getting out there each day was like around 100, 103, something crazy like that. Friday was brutal, Saturday was better, Sunday last night was actually really nice, temperature-wise.
It got better as the weekend went by, but Friday was definitely the roughest for us. And we got there at, like 5:30, 5:45 on Friday, and even with it being that late in the day, it was unbelievably hot. Universal was really cool. All of their restaurants and even some of like the middle kiosks in City Walk had ice water out for just in little plastic cups for everybody because they knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
So as a little PSA before we start this video, if you're going out to Halloween Horror Nights, make sure you drink a ton of water the day before, the days before, hydrate your body. Especially if you're going to be drinking alcohol while you're out there. Because the worst thing to do is get in a 2-hour line where you're body to body with everybody and falling out before you get in the house from heat exhaustion.
Yeah, not to mention, everybody around you can smell ya. Alright, I don't care who you are. You go into Horror Nights looking pretty and all nice and get your makeup done. And you may have deodorant on at that point. But by the end of the night, you're sweaty and you smell. I stunk so bad and my hair was just gross. It was fun and I had a great time, but just remember, it's hot, it's sticky, you're gonna get sweaty and you're gonna stink, and that's okay.
I'll never forget the car ride home.
It was the car ride home it was a little stinky. We maybe should have probably cracked a window, but air conditioning was great. So
yes.
If you're going during Horror Nights and it's super duper hot, couple things to remember. Number one, they have free water in the little cups in the restaurants. Go inside and get some. They will happily give it to you to help keep you hydrated. The other thing is air conditioning. Yes,
take breaks. Go into those gift shops. Even if you're not going to buy something, make sure you cool your body temperature down.
There was one point I think we got out of Trick or Treat. That was one of the houses we did first. And we actually stopped and went to the bathroom. I didn't go to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom because it was air conditioning. That bathroom back there is ice cold, and it was a godsend. It was nice. So, yeah.
Definitely. A little park hack, it takes 2 seconds when you're in the bathroom, go to the paper towel dispenser, grab yourself some out, wrap them up, soak them in cold water, put them on your neck when you get outside. If you don't already have a cool towel. Apparently the cool towels they sell at Walmart or whatever the actual name
yeah,
are,
the little self-cooling ones.
Look for really helpful. So those are also something that helps out with. If you don't have one of those, wet a towel, throw it on your neck, cool your body temperature.
Yeah, I tend to overheat a little too easy, and I tend to not drink enough water, which I'm getting better at, and I did really good this weekend. I drank a lot of water, but he helps me. He makes sure that I hydrate, and he gave me all the cool towels so that I wasn't falling over. Because we were in line, and we saw people hooked up to IV machines getting fluids transferred because they were dehydrated. So you know your body better than I know your body, or he knows your body. So just make sure that you stay hydrated.
Definitely.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends. Even if you guys, go party, have a good time. In between beers, in between mixed drinks, get a couple glasses of water. It's only going to help you.
And drink the day before, because it doesn't help you if you already...
Drink liquor the day before?
That's always a good time. No. Drink water the day before because it doesn't help when you're already at the park trying to rehydrate while you're there if you're already dehydrated going in. Yeah. Your alcohol and your sodas are going to take those out, or all the good nutrients out of you. Yeah. It's going to deplete you of water, things like a diuretic or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. So just make sure you hydrate ahead of time and then hydrate while you're there, just to play safe, you know?
Yeah, and it will help you have, number one, it'll help you have a better time because you're not going to feel like crap. And number two, it'll also help you the next day. Now, granted, you're going to be beat from walking the park all day or all night, but it'll help to keep your body hydrated so your body's a little bit better than if you hadn't drank any water or if you stuck just to straight up alcohol. So just, again, big thing, take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's being a Floridian, you kind of expect it and you know what to do, but a lot of folks are coming in from out of state and they're not used to this Florida heat. You think you're okay for the first 20 minutes. If you're in a line like Stranger Things, which we'll talk about,
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure you hydrate ahead of time.
Yes.
Unless it rains on you, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So, real quick disclaimer for you boys and girls. If you have not gone to Horror Nights yet, kindly, and I hate to say this, turn off the video because we are going to talk about all of the houses that we went to. We only missed one. It was Blumhouse, but spoilers. So
giant spoiler alert here, guys. This is your warning. So don't go down in the comments later on and complain that we spoiled anything for you, because this is your last chance. Back out now.
Yeah. So if not, you go forth knowing that I'm going to probably spoil some stuff for you. So, yeah.
You have been warned.
You've been warned. So they had 10 houses this year. That was the big thing that Universal did. They pulled out Bill and Ted, rest in peace, who we all miss. Academy of Villains has their stage, but they added 10 houses, which I thought was a great idea. I like getting an extra house. It kind of makes me feel like I'm getting a little bit more for my dollar, even though I'm really not. I'm at least getting the additional scare factor.
Yeah, they could probably have 20 houses at Halloween Horror Nights, and honestly, the waits would still probably be 45 minutes easily because of the attendance and how many people go through there. Mm-hmm. But increasing the number of houses was definitely helpful this year due to the fact that they do have a few that are very long waits.
Yeah. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into our top houses. So we're going to start off with... The first two houses are two of my favorites. I'm not going to lie. I'm having a really... Okay. They're like this close. There's one that's just a little bit ahead of the other because of how much I love these two houses. And I know you enjoyed them as well. So the first house, our number one house, is Poltergeist.
They're here.
Oh my god. That house was... First of all, it's on one of the sound stages. It's very long, and it has the best air conditioning in the park.
Yes.
Oh my god, it was lovely. It was so nice to walk into. That was a big plus for me. Not that should make or break a house, but it was definitely a bonus.
It's still really nice when you're out there and people are like, hey, I want to do Poltergeist, and you've already done it once. You're like, hey, no problem, let's go cool down.
Yeah.
So it helps.
So what made this house our favorite house? Well, what was one of the things you liked the most?
Well, right off the bat, when you're walking up, you start getting sprayed in the face with water. And you're trying to figure out, is it raining? What's going on? Why do I have water hitting my face? And then it hits you like a ton of bricks. There is dirt all the way around you. You're actually coming up out of the swimming pool hole where they're actually excavating dirt, and there's coffins and stuff all around you. So you're thrown right into the movie right off the bat. Yeah,
it's awesome. You have the house kind of sits up a little bit. So as you're coming in through that pool, you've got, some coffins in, the house is up top, you've got the lightning flashing, and it's scary. And then you start to walk through, and you're walking through the earth and through these tunnels, and there's coffins that come out, and sometimes there's hands that come at you, and sometimes there's people that come at you. But some houses have managed to pull off the scents, like with your smell. Some of them pull it off beautifully.
Scent canisters.
Yes. The section when you're first entering in, all you smell is dirt as you're walking through it, and this is weird. I love the smell of dirt. It's kind of weird. It's an upstate New York redneck thing. It's the smell of dirt. I don't know why I love it, but for me, that fully immersed you once you actually got into the tunnel as you're entering into the actual house. That was really cool. I really like that.
Down here we call it mud.
Florida dirt.
Yes.
So there was that. What else?
In that same thing, the scenic when you're underground is bananas. The fact that there's actually stalactites and stalagmites on the ground, just the whole feel of it, it's one of the most immersive moments in any of the houses where you actually feel like you could possibly be underground, surrounded by all of these bodies. And it's one of the best static scare areas, meaning you don't know who's real and who's not. I personally love that. I don't really care for jump scares because I don't get scared that easy. But if you have 20, not even 20, we'll say 10 people, 5 on each side all the way down, and you don't know which one's real and which one's not, that gives that element of a little bit of anticipation, a little bit of anxiety. You don't know what's going to happen. It was a good, just nice little surprise.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. That was definitely, that was one of my favorite scenes. As you moved into the house, it transitioned very well. So once you you come out of the dirt and you're actually going into the house. They had Carol Ann up and she had her hands against the screen, and that was a puppet, but it was up above your head. So you kind of had to go underneath that to get into the house, and it brought you into the kitchen. And one of my favorite elements, which is so stupid, but it's so tiny, but if you missed it, you missed it. If you saw it, like our whole party, we had I think like 4 or 5 of us at that point.
I think so.
That went into the house, and as soon as we walked in that room and we looked down and there's meat just like moving across the counter, our entire party, we all just lost it. Everybody was just like, oh my God, they've got the meat. Like little things like that for me, that kind of attention makes a house fantastic, or it will destroy a house if it's, if they're missing that little detail. And people notice that stuff.
Oh, definitely. And it was a nice practical effect, because later in the house, they kind of do that same effect with everything floating, but they're doing it behind a screen, and you can kind of see how and why the stuff's floating. I think with the meat, it was either on some kind of track, or they had some kind of magnetic system set up.
Yeah,
something.
That's kind of what it looked like.
But you couldn't really see why it was moving, which was really cool, because it had that feeling like, oh, there's a poltergeist in the house and they're moving the meat.
It's mystery meat.
It's mystery meat theater.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
Now, as we were going through, there was something that I didn't really see the first time. The second time we went through, I got a better chance to see it, and it really clicked what I was looking at. There's not many makeup jobs in this one. The makeup application that was done on this particular one was amazing. There's a wonderful scene where he's looking in the mirror and it looks like all of his flesh is gone on his face. Well, they did an appliance of this.
So good.
It's very limited visibility. The lighting's decent enough you can see it. It looked really good. It didn't just look like a mask. You didn't see a hairline sticking out underneath. Things that have happened in the past that kind of takes you out of the moment. It looked like somebody ripped his face off. So whoever sculpted that, it looked really cool.
Yeah, that piece was very nice. It was a very nice warm welcome change, and it was bloody too. And that's something I've noticed, is that some of the victims in some of the houses were lacking that blood. So
houses overall, there just wasn't much blood.
That's what I mean. So in Poltergeist, when they have that particular scene, when you go through the house, you'll see it where he's got that bloodied face, and he's like, that was a good standout scene. That made me go, oh, okay, that's all right. We got some blood. I'm always game for blood.
Also, you see his reflection in the mirror, so you just think maybe you're seeing a prop, and then he comes around the corner. It's a really cool little jump scare.
Yes, yeah, that was definitely something that it got me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, the first time. The second time I was expecting it, and I was like, I was excited, and I didn't say anything to my group, because we went through with just the two of us, and there were people behind us, and I don't like renting houses for people while we're in line, but
we'll do it now.
We'll do it now for you. But that part of it was really cool, because I knew it was coming. I knew what he was gonna do, and I had that anticipation of, oh my God, I get to see it again.
Anticipation?
Say it. So that was cool.
Now, there's something they did in this house, and we saw it in multiple houses, and it's kind of interesting, because I never thought I would see something from an independent house be transitioned into the major houses. But apparently, the folks at Universal maybe have went to Netherworld, Chamber of Terror, Shallow Grave, places that had puppets. This is something that Universal hasn't done a lot of, or when they do the puppets, they do the animatronic style puppets like the American Werewolf in London, where it was just a big hack thing that came out, but they've never done anything the scale and the size of the ones that we saw this year.
They were
and there's
huge.
Quite a few of them. They went Netherworld style, or if you saw the shark at the Chamber of Terror,
yes, the big
was
shark
gigantic.
at the end.
Or even in the Shallow Grave, their giant demon that came
they had
out.
2 of them.
Oh, it was amazing.
The dragon and the demon.
It was like a dog, I think.
It was a dog.
The
Sorry,
giant dog
dragon.
head.
Sorry, dog head.
It was still amazing. So it was kind of cool to see him kind of grasp that idea and bring it into Poltergeist, because they needed to have something that was big, and I'm really thankful they didn't cheese out and just put screens. If everything had been, I don't know, a Fast and Furious style screen, I said the F word, I'm sorry. If it had just been screens, it wouldn't have had that kind of impact. But to have people behind, because I've actually worked one of those before out at the Shallow Grave, where your arms are inside of this giant machine, and you're pushing forward and bringing back and actually articulating this creature, which is a lot of fun. The only thing they need to work on is the camouflaging of it. When you looked behind, you could actually see the operator back there working it. Kind of takes a little bit away from it.
You could see them in some of and not in all of them. There were a couple that you didn't see the people, the man behind the mask, as it were. You didn't see them operating, but there were a few rooms where you did see it, and for that split second, it kind of took you out. But just in Poltergeist alone, that house is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. That is the house of the year. That is the best house that they have done in a very long time. It really is.
Definitely. It was I didn't expect it to be as amazing as it was. I remember Poltergeist as a kid. I liked the movie. It's a classic. I didn't know how it would translate into a house. I expected a lot more Carrie Ann. The only Carrie Anns they had in there were actual props. They were all and the props were beautiful though, because you don't need more of Carrie Ann if you're being attacked by the things that were actually brought forth by unearthing all of the bodies that the house was built on top of.
Well, technically they moved the graves but didn't move the bodies.
Yeah.
But still, that was something that we didn't see a lot of Carrie Ann, but we did see, we had a couple of victims in there that we were being attacked, like the whole clown attack was in there, although it was done a little bit differently than in the movie, which was fine, but it worked very well for our house in Orlando.
Now, there's multiple clown areas, so if you're afraid of clowns, you're probably going to get scared at least 2 to 3 times while you're in here. Yay. Just a heads up, so enjoy.
Yeah, have fun with that. Poltergeist is our number 1. Our number 2 house is, alright, so I love crappy movies. I love B movies. They're crap. A lot of them are crap. I love any kind of B movie. I love any kind of cheesy monster movie. Santa Jaws, if that gives you an idea of the level of crap that I watch and that this poor man has to deal with all the time. Slaughter Cinema is my second favorite house. I can't. There's so much I love about Slaughter Cinema. I could probably talk for a good 30 to 40 minutes, and I'm probably gonna, just about that house alone.
I'm just thankful it lived up to the hype. The idea behind it was really cool. We were hoping they would bring it to life. We've seen Universal do monsters in the past. They did a one with the classic Universal monsters, but they were all done in grayscale. Mm-hmm. It was cool, but it was kind of underwhelming. So with this, I was hoping they didn't go black and white era. I was hoping they'd go just crazy chibi movies. Something we heard about this that was kind of interesting, though, was that these were actually underdeveloped ideas for previous houses, which was kind of interesting because, towards the end, there was something kind of cool I'll tell you about with this. But go ahead.
There's all kinds of goodies. So now you have to understand something. When we did Slaughter Cinema, we've done it twice so far, and each time we've done it, it's been one of the first houses that we do, so it's during the day, and we haven't gone back to do it at night.
Get it early.
Yeah, it's super short if you get there early. So we didn't realize this, and I didn't realize this until I was watching another YouTuber's videos, where on the outside of the house that Slaughter Cinema's in, the tent, if you want to call it that, they actually show the trailers for all of the movies that are featured in Slaughter Cinema. So you have a trailer for, like, Beast Baby. You have a trailer for Shitty's Kids. There's trailers for everything. So to see that...
Barber Chop.
So I was a little sad that we missed all of that, but knowing that they do that at night now, I kind of want to go back just so that I can see that stuff, and it's...
Let's be honest, we're going to go back again regardless.
I know.
She loves that house, and so do I. I mean, it's really cool. So what do you like about it, Erica?
Everything. So...
All right, cut, we're done.
We're done, fine. So the minute you walk into the house, you're met with Maniac. The song, She's a Maniac, kicks in. Sorry, didn't mean to bleed your ears there. But that alone, I was like, this is great, because it's got that upbeat, pumped 80s feel where you're like, and
you're actually walking into an old theater.
Yes.
It has the old theater sign out front. You're walking in, and it kind of feels like you're walking into an old theater, or possibly driving into an old drive-in theater. Mm-hmm. It has that wonderful cheese feel to it, and right off the bat, there's actually a character out front, you'll see. We won't give away too much of it, but let's just say it was really nice to see an upfront scare, because a lot of the other houses we'll talk about had perfect opportunities that were missed, unfortunately, because they just didn't maybe not have the staff, or it could have just not been scheduled to have anybody there. But I love that. That's one of the things I loved when they first did Kong, was that there were characters in the lines. It got you pumped up. That was something a lot of the independent houses do, is they'll put people in the line so you feel a little anxiety before you go in the house. You have a little idea of what's going to happen, and the character they've got at the beginning of Slaughter Cinema sets the mood perfectly.
And he's perfect.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, they could not have stuck a better character in this slot. It's like the old Japanese, taken right from the old like Japanese Shogun films almost. Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
Yep.
I love it.
Check it out.
So that's always a good thing. The house overall was very campy. It was very fun. It had a little bit of that grindhouse feel to it. It was exactly what you would expect out of a B-movie style house, if you will.
Oh, definitely. Like, if they had made a Hellraiser house, I'd be going through expecting to see the Hell Priest looking exactly like he looks, the female Cenobite looking how she looks. Going into this, you kind of were able to take some of those expectations away because you're expecting to see rubber masks. You're expecting to see those cheesy, fun little things. So it was kind of nice being a makeup artist to be able to kind of take yourself out of that moment for a minute and be able to expect the cheese and expect the fun. And this one over-delivers beautifully. It's perfect. The transitions are really nice too. It was one of the cleanest transitions as far as going in from one scene to the next. Some of the other houses we'll talk about, some of the transitions weren't as clean, and it left you a little confused as to far as why did I get from here to here.
Yeah.
This one was as cut and dry as it could be. I mean, they actually give you a little piece as you're going in a wonderful little movie poster, so you know what you're about to see, and then once you see it, you're like, oh wow, they actually brought it to life.
Before you know how they usually have those little the little curtains or the plastic stuff that come down, so before you would go through any of that mess, they would have a poster, and underneath that poster they would have like the old school
drive-in theater speaker box.
Yeah.
The one that you'd actually put on your car is that we got later years, you could actually go to a radio station and listen to that box. But it was the little box, and it was sitting there talking to you right underneath the poster.
And it was loud enough to where you could hear it. So you would walk through and be like, Beast Baby! And you would go right into the Beast Baby section, which was fantastic. And it was simple. That was the other thing that I really liked about the house.
Yes.
Everything that they did in the house, it was very, very simple. And because it was so simple, I think it made it made it stand out even more.
It felt very.
If that makes sense.
It actually felt very clean and polished.
Mm-hmm.
As weird as that sounds for being B movies, I think a little bit of maybe the fact that you don't have an expectation going in.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about Universal still doing these independent houses.
It's
when
nice.
we talked about Poltergeist earlier, that's considered an IP house or an intellectual property house. Those are houses that Universal's are getting the rights to actually do these houses. They have to have a lot of permissions to do those. When they do ones like Slaughter Cinema, they have a little bit more freedom and flexibility, so you can see the creative team actually creating and doing what they love. And that passion was really brought into this house. It was really well done.
Oh, you can see it. You can see it in all the independent houses. We're going to talk about scare zones. I'm not going to...
Not yet.
Oh my God. But when creative gets that chance to do what they do and run with it, it's a glorious thing. And that was something that we really saw in Slaughter Cinema. The other thing that was really cool too is in Men in Black and the tribute store where they have all the Horror Night merchandise stuff. They have printers set up, and these printers were brought in by a company, and I can't remember the name of it. Do you remember the name?
I don't have his business card on me, but we will get you that information. The link will probably be down below, at least, because I do have that on their card.
Okay, so I'll put that down in the description box.
Or if you go to Universal, they're going to be there. They're running every single night. They're these big, beautiful laser printers that they're actually printing with. And what do they have on those? Or what are they using laser printers for?
So, they actually have a couple of different designs. So, they have some of the designs that the gentleman that there's a gentleman named Tony that we spoke with that worked for that company, and he did some of his own designs, but he was actually there doing the printing. So, what you could do is you would walk up, and it was a kiosk, and it was a touchpad, like a little iPad, and you could pick out an image to be silkscreen onto a girl's shirt or a guy's shirt, and they were the posters from Slaughter Cinema. So you could get, a Beast Baby. I love Beast Baby, sorry. You could get, like, the Beast Baby poster on a girl's shirt or on a guy's shirt. And then they had one where they had taken, like, the Chucky Scare Zone and the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, and they did kind of like a half one, half the other shirt with it. But it was cool because you would go up, you would do boop, 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 and push the buttons and pick the design that you wanted, and they would print it right then and there for you. You could, go to a house and come back and get it, or you could wait depending on how busy they were. But they would custom print them for you, and I think they said it was like $37. But if you're an annual pass holder, you get a small discount on that using your pass, so that was always a plus. But that's something that I don't remember them ever doing before. I don't think that they've ever done it before. And that was something that was really cool. And I'm really glad that they did this year.
Definitely. It's a nice personal feel. Like she was saying, the guy we spoke to, Tony, was showing us all the designs that Universal had approved and given to them to actually work with. Yes. They were basically taking, like she said, right out of the movie theater, right out of the posters and putting them onto the shirts. And we had a couple friends that got them and said that it actually felt like really good quality. Like the actual printing goes into the fabric. It's not one of those iron-ons that just kind of sits on the top.
Yeah.
This is solid. So you're actually getting your money's worth for what you want. One of our other friends personalized the shirt. They were actually able to personalize one of the Stranger Things shirts with a name on it.
Yeah, it was like the Hawkins Little League or something, and she had her last name put on it. So that was really cool. So yeah, you can personalize certain shirts like that too. So for me, that's huge.
Definitely.
I'm probably going to go buy one of the shirts. I just don't know which one yet because all of the posters, listen, we bought a lot of crap, and I'm going to show you guys that probably I'll do a separate video on our haul from Horror Nights. But I do want to get one of those shirts because they really are awesome. And if you want one, I will get you one too. But
you're running out of Christmas presents.
Christmas is like 6 months. We're going to call this early birthday. That's how I'm getting away with it. But yeah, Slaughter Cinema.
Definitely. There's only one thing, just one tiny thing that would improve it.
Let's talk bad about my favorite house.
No.
What are you going to say?
Who's the wonderful TV show?
Oh my God. So, I'm just putting this out there, Universal.
If you're listening, it'd be really cool.
If you're watching this, now, not Scary Farm, how's Elvira? And she did her show for years and I know she retired. But there's a fine gentleman who hosted a TV show many a moon ago on a little TV station called TNT. And he had his own little show where he showed lovely B movies and he talked and he educated the masses. And this fine gentleman's name is Joe Bob Briggs. So the only thing that could have made this house better is if you had a little introduction from one Mr. Joe Bob as you went through the house. That would have been the icing on the cake for me. But hey, it's pretty close to perfect.
That was a pretty tasty cake. It didn't even need the icing. That would just be a nice to have.
It was a tasty cake. I do love that one. So yeah, so far we've got Poltergeist at number 1. We have our amazing Slaughter Cinema at number 2. And then our number 3 house that we have is, it's an independent house, another one that Universal Creative did. It is a sequel house, so they've already done a couple of different incantations of this, and I think what they did the first one like 2000, 2001 or something, but it is Scary Tales.
It was fun. And it's kind of interesting because our numbers are going to kind of vary just a little bit on these. She has Scary Tales at number 3. I have Seeds of Extinction, so we're going to talk about those kind of back to back.
Okay. Yes.
But the fun part is they're both independent houses, which is another cool part, is the fact that this is coming out of the brains of the people at Universal. This isn't a movie, so again, there's no preconceived notions going into this. Scary Tales was a lot of fun due to the fact that they decided to take some of the most beloved children's fairy tales and wonderful stories and just twist the crap out of them.
It was great. I loved it.
The scenic right off the bat when you walk up is fantastic because you're transported directly into Oz.
The facade was, first of all, it was huge. It was ginormous. When you walk in, you see this beautiful facade, and at the very top there is a witch, and she's got her cauldron, and she's
2 cauldrons. She's actually calling to each one and activating them. So
she does her little arm movement, and of course they have their cues, and then one cauldron will light up and then she'll move this way and the other one will light up. But the cool thing too is, and I love when they do this, is she was on bungees. So she would swing from her middle platform, she would come to a platform that was off to the right, and then she would swing back to another platform that was to the left, and then back to the center. So I like when they get the people on bungees through, because it's not something that you see a lot of anymore. So it's something that I enjoy seeing in a house. And the fact that it started that way for me, I was kind of like, okay, this is going to be fun. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Definitely. Yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of training to have them actually use those suspensions, the suspension cables.
Yeah.
That's something that they have to actually go through physical training for to make sure that they can go from one. I mean, it's a high liability risk too. So for them to trust them to be able to do that kind of stunt work, and it really is stunt work at that point, because you're not just static moving. It was awesome. It looked really cool. With her floating over the top of you when you're not expecting it. Next thing you know, the witch is flying. It was neat.
And she was pretty scary looking too. She
the
wasn't
makeup looked good.
She wasn't nice and pretty and polished.
No.
She was scary, and you could see it even from her beach because she was way up there, and even for being way up there, you could see that makeup pretty good, and it was the lighting on it worked well.
It was the Wicked Witch of the West.
It was.
It may not have had the name Wicked Witch of the West on the front, but
that's pretty much what it was.
She looked like that, and she looked great.
She did, and then as you walked into the house, it was kind of you were first introduced to her zone, so you have like the scarecrow, you had the lion, which was really cool.
The lion was fun.
And the lion was a lot of fun. He looked good too. He looked really good.
Yeah,
so
whoever did the hair work on the lion, good job.
Really good
awesome.
job. He looked as beautiful as almost as beautiful as a werewolf in one of my other favorite houses from years ago. American Werewolf in London, just saying. But he looked so awesome. As you go through that house, you were introduced to Hansel and Gretel. So it kind of took you through all these different fairy tales that you grew up with, you know, and that was kind of cool. And
it was a little tongue-in-cheek.
It was very tongue-in-cheek.
It was a little tongue-in-cheek. That was the fun part about it. A lot of houses are trying to scare you.
Yes.
This one had some good jump scares.
Oh, it did.
But having Hansel run up to you and say
yummy, yummy in my tummy
was hilarious.
It was great.
Because you've got people jumping and scaring at you, but at the same time, you're laughing as you go through this house.
It was fun. It was a very fun house.
Definitely.
And the scenic was beautiful. The costumes were beautiful. The three little pigs.
Yes.
The three little pigs were great. And there were three of them, and they would come at you. And that's the other thing, too, and we talked about this earlier, is you got the double-sided scare. So you had a pig coming from your left and a pig coming from your right. So if you're looking this way, you got somebody coming at you this way. And that, when you get characters that work like that together and that play off each other that well, it's a beautiful and frightening thing.
Definitely. When you're not just having to play off sound cues, and you actually have... You look away because somebody's got your attention and they've popped directly in front of you, and they're actually big costumes. Like the bears, bears were big. And the pigs, they were large. They were big creatures. So you didn't feel like a kid was running out at you. You actually felt like somebody was coming after you. It was neat.
They were big. They were big and they were scary. And I will admit it, they got me a couple times with that boop boop on both sides. And I love that. And I'm not really a girl when it comes to going through haunts. Like, I've got no problem going first. I've got no problem, you know, just walking through and checking stuff out. And I don't really jump scare that easy. So when you get the two like that and when they're able to work together and I do get scared, I absolutely love it because it's not something that happens all the time. And I know you're the same way.
Definitely. Now, a couple things they could do better in this house. The lighting. They need to do a couple checks on the lighting and make sure that the visibility of some of these creatures and characters can be seen. Because some of them, unfortunately, they go through so fast you don't really see them. Yeah. Or
it's so dark.
The way they're blocked, there may not be a lot of people. This was the one that had the sea creatures underneath, right? On either side. There were these amazing sea creatures, and it felt like you were underwater, and they had the plastic going on both sides. But if you were in a place in the position in line, going through, that they didn't pop out, you'd never even know they were there.
Yeah, it was like seaweed down both ends, and the first time we went through, there was nothing in there. Like, it was just the seaweed, and we walked through, and we're like, all right, this is cute, whatever. The second time we went through, they actually had two characters in, and they had them in these, like, it reminded me of the creature from Black Lagoon.
It was a
little, but when you got to see them, they were great.
It was kind of like a creature mixed with mermaid, kind of what it felt like.
Merman.
Mer people.
But it was really cool. So Scary Tales is definitely something that I would hit. I would definitely put that on my to-do list.
One thing to look out for when you first go in where the giant castle is and you see the witch up top, look behind the witch.
Yes.
There's a giant map back there. I think the map is supposed to be the path of all the different themes they go throughout the different areas of the houses. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw.
No, because
take a look and let us know what you think down below.
Yeah, let us know, because when I walked through, I'm pretty sure I could see like the Oz's castle, and then I could see like a forest. So it did look like there was a mapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know if you noticed that, and
please.
what did you see in that map? I'd be curious to know, because I know, you know, there's some of you out there who are super sticklers for detail. So definitely, I'd be interested to see what you guys saw on that one.
Definitely. Now, we're going to jump to my number 3 favorite, which is going to be Seeds of Extinction. Now, I'll be honest with you, the first time I went through this house, I didn't read the description, by not reading the description and going through, and I think it was daylight when we went through. It was pretty
Oh,
bright.
it was the second house that we hit, because we did trick or treat first, and then we went to Seeds of Extinction, because we did the pass holder early entry, and they let us out into that area early. So we did those during the day. So we did miss some things because of that.
So the first time through, your eyes are still trying to adjust. It was a little dim the first time we went through, so you couldn't see everything. But the really nice thing about it was the fact that there's a lot of texture in it. Mm-hmm. So the texture didn't make as much sense the first time. Now, when I actually read the description, that there's been an apocalyptic event where a meteorite has actually hit the Earth and everybody's dead.
Creep show.
So there's a reason there's absolutely 0 people inside, but it's affected the plant life. Now with this gave Universal a chance to make some amazing sculpts.
Oh my god, and did they ever.
These masks are amazing. Now what was really cool is when we were looking at our annual pass holder flyer, we found out they were done by none other than Mr. Eric Garcia, who did an amazing job on them. So
Eric was contestant on Face Off a couple of times.
Him and his brother Derek.
You know, does some amazing work. He's gone to Spooky Empire, whether it's been to hang out or, you know, do a thing. But he does some amazing work, and it was really cool to actually see those masks, because there are certain areas in the house that is decently well lit to where you can see that detail, like JD was saying, the way that they're painted. It does make it pop more, but they were really pretty. I like them a lot.
Now, the second time we went through, the lighting had been adjusted. What you'll normally see when you go through haunted houses is if they're using red lights or either using green lights, it doesn't matter how you paint these things, you're not going to see them.
It washes every bit of detail. It washes
all of the color out. You end up having to sometimes go black and white just to make things pop. But that's where all the texture in these really plays off, because these are environmental scares. Mm-hmm. They're not just your boo and skidoo people popping out at you. They're already in the room with you. Now, the first couple ones were kind of like ghillie suits, and you're like, okay, ghillie suits, I get it. You know,
one of them looked like a giant mushroom.
They're plant life, and like then as you start to get in and actually see these creatures, that's when things get fun. And this is another one of those amazing double scare opportunities. And I got to tell you, one thing that I loved about this, there's a section in it that goes half vertical. You're actually walking up at an angle. As you go through, there's people scaring you from down below, but that area they're scaring you down below is also totally themed. The reason it's themed is so if you're going through with a manual wheelchair, you still get all the scares. So that was one thing that's kind of cool with Universal this year that we noticed. Every single one of the houses are wheelchair accessible.
They were the same though. Remember, like 2 years ago, I sprained my foot in 2 different places, and this poor sweet man wheeled me all throughout Horror Nights and through every house. And like he said, that is a great thing that Universal does, is they make all of their houses wheelchair accessible, because had they not been, I would not have been able to do any of the houses, and I would have been mighty upset, let me tell you. And we have friends that are in wheelchairs, and they're able to do them, and that makes my heart happy. But when you mentioned that slant, it's like if you went through Dead Waters last year, and the pirate ship, and it had that slant, it was the same thing in Seeds of Extinction.
The New Orleans ship?
Yeah. Which was, oh my god, I love that ship. It was beautiful.
Oh
yeah. But it was good. They could have used more characters in the house, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think they could have done more. They could have had a couple of additional creatures in. The space was used well. The scenic, and it was beautiful.
The scenic's really nice and organic, and I loved it.
It's pretty.
Many years ago, but when they had the event over at Islands of Adventure.
Oh, and they did both parks?
Yes, over in the area over by Lost Continent. Those giant rock walls. They actually had camouflage characters that looked like the rock walls.
Right, I forgot about that.
It, and then as you walk through, they would pop out at you.
That was great. I forgot about that.
If that scared you and you jumped, this is the house for you as far as environmental scares, because you're not going to know where to look or what to look at.
Because they blend in.
Oh, they blend in
so
beautiful.
Well, and they look like they're a part of the scenic, which it is great, and I do love when they do that.
Plus, it's original. This is another original idea coming directly from Universal. The only thing I would have done is they have these little hand puppets that come out at you. I would have taken the design of the hand puppet and maybe brought it back to the elbow or maybe a little bit farther, because unfortunately with the black behind it, there are times that it looks like the head's just kind of floating, and it kind of takes it away. So if that was supposed to be like a vine creature or something like that, having it attached to a vine or something that kind of played off into the environment would have helped kind of sell it a little bit better. But
yeah,
that's
instead of just like that black sock arm where you're just like, oh hey, there's some guy's arm and a puppet. But yeah, that would have been something that I would have liked to see them do.
That's the only thing I really would have done with that one. And I mean, it's also decent temperature in there. It wasn't super hot. Thankfully.
No, that most of the houses that you will go through in Horror Nights, even if it's 1,000,000 degrees out, are really cool.
Yes,
they're pretty good as far as temperature controls. The characters, they get hot in their costumes, and they do tend to overheat. So to keep those houses at a cool temperature, not only for the guests being important as me coming through as a patron, but if I were to be a character in that house, I would need to have it, cooler so that my body temperature doesn't go too high and I don't end up overheating.
Definitely. And really quick, one of our little hacks when you go to one of these events that you can do yourself, grab a clean t-shirt. Put it in your bag, bring it with you. This is extremely helpful on 2 different points. One, if it rains, you've got something dry to put on. So make sure you put a plastic bag around that shirt, because not only can you pull it out of that bag, but you can use that plastic bag to put all your wet stuff in. 2, if you sweat through your shirt.
It happens.
I'm not a tiny dude. I sweat.
Listen, and I'm not a big chick, and I sweat. Like, my back was soaked on Friday. Like, all of me was soaked on Friday from sweat. So yeah, an extra shirt.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how big or small you are going to this event. When you're standing body to body with people, that body heat is going to generate a lot of sweat. That's also why we say to hydrate. But putting a nice clean t-shirt on feels amazing, whether you're doing it halfway through the night or before you go home, so it doesn't smell like a dumpster fire in your car.
Thanks, honey.
Next.
Appreciate you on that.
So that's our thoughts on Seeds of Extinction.
So those are our top 3 houses for now. Let me take a quick look here and see what else we've got. Now, I think that then what we're going to do is we're actually going to split this video up because we've talked quite a bit for quite a while just about our top 3 houses. So we're gonna do another video. I'll probably shoot that live later on this week so that you can see what the rest of the houses were that we really enjoyed. The other thing too is this Friday we were invited to go out to Hello Scream to check them out, and I'm super excited.
Yes.
We're gonna be out there on Friday. We're going to be doing their media event, so I'm really excited for that. I know JD's excited for it.
I haven't been out there in years, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I haven't been there in 6 or 7 years, and they did have a sale, which I was sharing all over Facebook, so if you guys don't like my Facebook page, you're missing out, so get on there and like it. I've got the description below. I post a lot of stuff there daily, so, like I was saying, Hello Scream, they had a ticket sale, and it was like $20, and I was like, wow, that's a really good deal, and neither of us had been in forever, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go. Unfortunately, there's a couple of our favorite local haunts are no longer, doing haunt opening this year.
Amazing independent haunts. Bring back the independent haunts, Orlando. Come on, Central Florida, let's do this.
Good on it. So because of that, I'm like, okay, well we can do more things, and I saw that Hello Scream had tickets available, and I was like, this is awesome. So I bought them. Well, a couple weeks ago, I got an email from them inviting us up to their media event, and I was like, yeah, we're coming. We will see you guys there. So we're gonna be doing their event. We'll have a whole video done on Hello Scream. I'm super excited for that. So first, huge shout out and thank you guys for doing that. Now I also want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Foods. We met them on opening night of Horror Nights. We went into Harry Potter to take a break because that is the coolest area of the park. So we went in there and just kind of sat down and chilled. And, you know, those guys came over and said hey and had a nice conversation. And they're really awesome. They're a food blog. So go ahead, check out their channel, give them a subscribe. I'll shoot the link down below too so you can check them out.
They were very cool, very nice people.
They're really good dudes. So check out their channel and subscribe and tell them I said hey. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, click the button below. Click the bell notification so you see when I post new videos. And until next time, make sure to keep it spooky.